Hey guys, it's Michelle with Blue Roof Cabinet Upholstery. Want to see what it looks like inside my workshop? Let's take a tour. So this area is, it's had quite a few different lives so far as far as I've had this shop. But this is what we're currently doing here. So I've got right by the double doors, there's a staging area. So this is where pieces, waiting to be worked on or finished, wrapped up, that kind of thing. It's really just kind of an overflow flex space. And then I just recently got a TV. That's been really fun. I watched the Golden Girls. And man, I grew up with them and I forgot how funny they are. Or, I go through phases. It's either TV or podcasts or music or all three, books on tape, whatever. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for. And then here, this cabinet from IKEA is relatively new. Probably a year ago I got this, and it works great. So I've got all of my goods. So I've got my button maker here, and then all of the dies and things that I have are in there, hand sewing thread, gloves, that kind of thing. So it's just right where I need to be. And then down below is the overflow storage for all the dies and things. I put all of my tools out. That's also something new. Previously I had a toolbox with and all of this in it, and then it had just a bunch of crap. So I decided to clean it out and put that overflow stuff in the back in my larger toolbox, stuff that you just don't need out at hand all the time. The shelf, I've got some baskets with some samples in it. Like, I don't have Schumacher books, so one of those has some really pretty Schumacher samples in it, or my favorite color, my favorite little pieces that I've gotten for people I've saved, samples and things. There's my library, just a few books that I have. All of my like spray glue and silicone and things like that are in that little basket there, so that's handy. And then I've got my air conditioning system, works great. And let's see, so this is my rolled goods. So your bottom cloth, your burlap, all that kind of stuff. Some foam samples. Once in a while you need to show clients just densities and things like that. And my little vacuum. And so yeah, this area works really great. I've got, this is the junk drawer, so I won't open it, but I've got all of my nail heads and things, and just like parts, all of the excess of this kind of stuff that I just I need at hand, but I don't really need it out. But you can see it's pretty well organized and it works great. I don't know if you've been around here a long time, but it used to be closed off and there was a barn door, and that was my staging wall. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I kept all the ugly stuff behind here, and I thought that was a good use of space. But finally, after tripping a million times, I decided, I need to open this up. So it's not a supporting wall. It was actually just like 2x4s about 4 feet apart. So it was easy to take down. But I left this part of it because I'll show you on the other side is my foam storage. And then I had these antique corbels, and I thought, let's make it cute. Why not, right? They were just in storage and they're really pretty. So this is a rod for like a photography backdrop, and I tried it, but it just to use as a backdrop, and it was just too fussy for me, so that was kind of a wasted project. And then let's see, now we're here to the foam storage, so let me open that up for you. So I left that wall, as you saw before, because I wanted to have a side for this foam storage, which works out great. And I've just got a little curtain on a hospital track just to kind of hide it from my clients. But this is about as organized as you're going to get. There's always little chunks and things that you never want to throw away. So those get put on the top. And then my rule is once that's full, I got to cull through them. I don't always follow that rule. I try to, but when I go crazy with all the scraps everywhere, that's what I shoot for. So we're doing pretty good right now on this. And then I have a little closet that is the junk closet, so you don't want to look in there. But I put my little air compressor in there. Even though it is really quiet, it just helps a little bit more. Okay, and here's that little closet, and then we come around to just sort of overflow storage behind that curtain. There's all kinds of randomness back there. And then on top there, I have some of my pieces that are my own that I want to make over eventually. and, you know, do some fun projects with. I try not to do that anymore, but once in a while something speaks to me. Um, so, and they're also kind of pretty to look at. So I think people kind of, it feels like an upholstery shop when you see those there. And then we've got the curtain that curtains off the back room, which is just a mess. We don't want to look at that. And then we've got the little cabinet over there that has books, and then it's a file cabinet on the bottom. In it, I put pillow forms in it. I don't stock a bunch of pillow forms, but so here's my table, and this has been reworked many times. When I opened up this wall, it gave me a great opportunity to make the table as big as I possibly could. So what I have is 60 by 8 feet, and then on the other end I have a pop-up addition on there for when I have extra long cushions or, you know, whatever. Here I've got a couple hooks, and all my long rulers are on this side. This is where I mainly work. I stand either in the front or on this side. I've got my tack strips, cardboard tack strips, and all of this kind of stuff down here, and that works pretty well. And then I've got the rhino liner, I think is what it's called, rhino mat. The thick acrylic mat that goes on top of a grid. So you've got the grid underneath, so that way that it doesn't shrink and contract like the mat will. And you can see it, not as good as I would like, but it works pretty well. And we're not going for, you know, millimeters here when we're cutting fabric, so I think it works great. I've got a little bit of wood edging on here just to hold it in, and so I really like that. You can see that's a 56-inch roll of fabric, and you've got a little bit on each side. So that's pretty typical. It works. It works. One of the things I love about it is I do like that grid on there, and then also it's, you know, soft. It protects things, but you can also pin. You can temporary tack it. So if you need to like stretch fabric out, you can temporary tack and then pull them, and then you just won't even really notice. So in these cabinets, these are my favorite thing, is to have these here because, like I said, I stand here all the time. But I have all of my measuring devices, tape measures, chalk. I've got my rotary cutter. I love this bad boy. That's a favorite. It works really good. And then underneath I have like all my tools, my iron, all the things that I need here. My foam cutter's in there. And then here also more stuff that I need in this section. Love, love, love this table. It's, of course, you can never have a big enough table, but you don't want to have to crawl around it. This is a little DIY fabric holder that I made just out of, it's a 2x6 on a 1x6, screwed in from the bottom, and then there's a metal angle on the inside too, just to fortify it. And then I've just attached it to the table with clamps. These are kind of funny. They're huge. I thought they were going to be smaller, but it works. And it really is stable. I'm shaking the camera, not the thing. So this is great. Totally removable, but it helps a lot with handling large amounts of fabric. So I really like that. And then here is the extension that I have on the side. So it just pops right up if I need to. I need that extra space, and then makes it a little tight here to the doorway, but it's manageable. And then I can just show you that bracket. But yeah, so fabric storage here for current projects, and then some of the stuff that I'm working with for myself. But yeah, I think on the back side, underneath on the back side is I have like cotton batting and things like that that need a lot of space that I don't want to look at. And then, oh my gosh, I buried the lead. My Dacron. My Dacron is hanging from the ceiling, which is perfect for me. It might look like it's in the way, but with my height, I'm 5'4". It's enough in the middle of the table that I don't hit it with my head when I'm working. And then I have this extra light up front to kind of light that space because it does block out the sun. But I love having the Dacron up there. And then I'll have to show you, I use a bicycle pulley to hold it up. So that way I can easily lower it down to the table, change it out, and then pull it back up. And then it's just a PVC pipe that runs through it. And then this is also my other favorite thing. This is a retractable extension cord. So this is a game changer also, because it can go anywhere in the shop And mostly I'm working with it right over this table. So, and it doesn't get dirty, can be pulled right back up. I just really, really, really love that. Where I actually work. This is the area that I will have sawhorses, or in my case, I use this modified salon chair base with a piece of plywood attached to it. That way it swivels, it goes up and down several inches, and it's really a space saver in a small area because you don't have to walk around the piece. You can just swivel it to you. Or and then also I sit a lot on a rolling stool, so that works really well too. So I've got all these options for heights and moving around and that kind of thing. So this is what really works for me. Love, love, love it. And then I do have some sawhorses that I can add if the piece is a little bit bigger to the side. It does lock, but you can see the proximity to the table and all those tools and to this station here. So all of my supplies. So it's not a very big area, and this works really great. But you can be real low tech about it, but having your hose come from the ceiling is just great for not having a dirty hose that you run across your nice pretty fabric. It's still very mobile. I can pull it anywhere in the shop. But I really like having that feature. And something I'm considering is getting a retractable one. I don't think I don't need it, but now I kind of want it. So that might be my next purchase. And that brings us over to the last area, which is I've got some pillow samples up there, some more storage. I've got my sewing table with a pop-up extension, which never goes down because I need it. It's awesome. My most recent thing I added was this little file cabinet. So it's got client files and all my you know, papers and all the things that I need to keep officey stuff. And then it's also on wheels, which is key, right? So I can move it out of the way or use it for something else at the top. And then I've got just a rolling garbage can. Also, wheels are key, right? And there's my sawhorses, you can see. So I have the 1541 Juki with the servo motor. Love, love, love it. In the station, I have you can see my zipper cordings all right there. And then I have it through that little loop so that it's close to me, all the ends. This is just a very rigged thing, but I was trying to think of some fancy way to hang it. And I thought, well, just cord drilled through the side of the cabinet and a piece of conduit, and it's right there and it's perfect. I've got all my curved needles and all that tufty needles there. They're kind of not where they need to be, but I always know they're there, so it's totally fine that they're over here in this corner. This little cabinet holds all the little sewing notions. Threads in here, not the best way to store thread. Anyway, and then here's my Juki serger. I have a 4 thread. I'm only using 3 at this moment, but so it's great. I can just turn right around, serge, serge, serge. Obviously this becomes a desk. I need to deal with paperwork, but all my catalogs go here. I've got a whiteboard with client stuff, and then, you know, the little chart with how much yardage, which, you know, take that with a grain of salt. Sewing machine table came with this. I'm sure you all have it, but it's a great idea. And then it also came with this little cheat sheet if you're having problems with your thread. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I've got my welt cord on a swivel, so I can just pull it right off. Works pretty good. So, and then this is where I also do all my bookkeeping and things. So, but yeah, that's my little shop. Oh, and I almost forgot my books. So this is my main book storage, but as you saw all around the shop, there was more books and more books. Never enough. So it's 20 by about 24, and then there's a little bit behind the curtain in the back. So just over 400 square feet. You can pack a lot in here. It's just me. And I think it's a great space for one person. I could fit more people in here. I'll be doing some workshops. Probably 3 students would be max. This area here can hold 3 workstations if I get all my furniture out of the way. So I'm excited about that. But let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.